Hey everyone, I hope that you guys are doing well. Mrs. Hooker here, and I wanted to drop you guys another read aloud from the Unteachables. So we are coming into the end of our story. We got to the part where Miss Fountain and Jake Tiernova went to Mr. Kermit's house and said, hey, you gotta come to the science fair. Your kids are doing a project. They're trying to save your job. I want you guys to think about the relationship between Mr. Kermit and his students and how it's changed over the book. Think, when we started this book, we were in our classroom. We didn't like Mr. Kermit. We thought that he was not caring. We didn't get him. We thought he was a lousy teacher, and he really was. But all of a sudden, he's really started caring about these students and about their needs and doing the best he can for them. So the students are like, you know what? We got to do what we can and try to save his job. So they have entered the science fair, and that's where we pick up today. Mr. Kermit, Miss Fountain, and Jake Tiernova just arrived at the science fair. So sit back and enjoy. I turn my attention to the display board behind them. The title is The Internal Combustion Engine. Obviously, the idea came from working at Terranova Motors. There are several fantastic drawings and diagrams done by Raheem. They are so professional that I wonder if the judges will believe it's real student work. Beyond that, my heart sinks a little. The project is pretty thin. There's an information booklet with a few pages that could have been copied from any automotive web page. That's it. No working motor in a study that's supposed to be all about them. Not even a model one. I picture some of the other displays on the labyrinth of tables through the double gym. There's a miniature wind turbine and batteries that store the electricity it generates. A Foucault pendulum, a replica of the internal gyroscope that provides telemetry guidance for a ballistic missile. Everywhere, microscopes peer down at single-celled organisms. Geiger counters click, test tubes bubble, and static electricity jumps up Jacob's ladders. These projects come from the most talented science students in the entire district, not just Greenwich Middle School. The internal combustion engine is a nice effort, but it doesn't come close to anything else here. This is like entering a grape into a competition against a 200-pound watermelon at the state fair. Anger surges inside me. Maybe Jake doesn't know any better, but Emma surely understands that the internal combustion engine doesn't stand a chance of an ice cube in a molten lava against the other projects here. I take in the proud, hopeful faces of the Unteachables. It goes without saying, they're about to finish dead last. They could very well be laughed out of the competition. The blow could destroy their confidence and undo most of the progress of the past weeks. The judges are at the very next table, practically chortling with glee as they watch a small robot shoot baskets at a Nerf hoop built into a giant crate that is on the display. Two men and a woman, the high school science teachers, along with a professor from the local college. They make notes on their clipboards, but there's no mistaking the enjoyment on their faces. Not for long, I think, as the threesome approaches the internal combustion engine. The kids are so amped, you can almost hear a hume coming from their body. I feel a little sick. I resolve then and there to make a big stink if the judges are unkind about the project. Why not? There's no downside. What can they do? Complain to Thaddeus and get me fired? To my relief, the three are respectful and professional. They're obviously not very impressed, but they go through the motions of examining the display. They even come up with a few questions to ask. The college professor reads through the booklet and comes to the last page. I never made it that far. There are exactly 2 words written in large block capitals. Look outside. An arrow points towards the gym's corner exit, which opens out to the parking lot. The man frowns. What does this mean? Elaine's deep baritone supplies the answer. Maybe it means, look outside. This way, adds Barnstorm, a thump swinging on his crutches toward the door. The judges follow, herded like cattle by the rest of the class. What's going on? I whisper to Emma. She smiles at me, misty-eyed. That would spoil the surprise. Jake is grinning, which is almost worse than her kindergarten ways. I'm not in the mood. I step out of the gym. I look around mystified. There's nothing here but parked cars. Then, an enormous roar cuts into the air, an ear-splitting vroom, so loud that you could feel it under your fingernails. All attention is wrenched away from the vehicles in the lot to a single car standing in the driveway, revving its enormous engine. It's an amazing sight. The paint job is bright red with flicks of silver that can catch the sunlight and dazzle the eye. Embossed on the driver's door is the image of a leaping frog. Sparks fling from the animal's powerful back legs, spraying the length to the rear bumper. There's no hood, and the motor has been raised to full, shiny view, brand new. Twin tailpipes gleaming chrome slash down both sides of the car. Multicolored LED lights flash from every rim wheel. Stunned and speechless, all I can do is stare. Emma is clamped onto my arm, cutting off the circulation. What does this hot rod have to do with a school science fair entry? The judges are pop-eyed. This is your project? The woman from the high school breathes. The kids nod, tickled pink with themselves. It's our working model, Kiana brags. Aldo leans into the gym and bellows, "In your face, losers!" They built the engine from the parts in my shop, Jake explains, his voice hoarse with pride. My mechanic supervised, but the kids did all of the work. They did everything, Emma confirms. One of them is even the driver. That's when I recognized Parker at the wheel, grinning so wide that his face is about to break. Why is there an elderly woman with him? The professor wants to know. That's Grams, Kiana explains. It's a long story. They did a lot more than just put an engine in, Jake goes on. You're looking at new tires, rims, glass wipers, interior, and the bodywork. Remember, this car is 27 years old. Pause there for a minute, folks. Whose car is this? Think about it. I snap to attention. 27 years old? I can't believe it. I can't believe I didn't see it before. Sure, it's all rebuilt, fancy and souped up, but the original shape is still there, hiding beneath the tailpipes and chrome and the blinding paint job. It's God bless America. It's the Coco Nerd. Chapter 29. Parker. It's worth all of the hard work to see Mr. Kermit's face when he recognizes his car, brand new and so much better. Although, how could it be any worse than it was when he left it, being shoveled up off the entrance to the parking lot? I tap on gas and listen to the roar echoes off the front of the school building. Some cars purr like a kitten. This one screams like a howler monkey. All thanks to 585 horses under the hood, if it had a hood. Howler monkey. I saw that in a book a couple days ago. At first, it looked like holy workmen, but I figured out in record time. That's been happening faster and faster lately, thanks to the extra reading help Mr. Kermit has gotten me. And it's not just me. Ribbit helped every kid in our class. There's no way we could thank him enough for what he's done. But that doesn't mean we can't try. That's why we built this car for him. And that's why I have to use this science fair project to totally blow the judge's mind and save his job. Grams regards the large eggplant in her lap quizzically. I can't imagine why I brought this pocketbook, she complains. It doesn't match anything I wear. Please don't squeeze it, I request. It's the blue plate special at the local table tonight. If I'm driving there, I'd better be farm business involved. At that moment, Kiana raises her arms and drops it. The high sign. I stomp on the gas. Even I'm shocked at the burst of acceleration as those 585 horses hurl us forward at a breakneck speed. In a heartbeat, the others are far behind me in the rearview mirror. The feeling of raw power is so awesome that when we run out of the driveway, I almost forget that I'm the one steering the car. At last instant, I yank on the wheel. We thump onto River Street and fly back down the blocks, tires barely touching the pavement. According to Jake, this engine should get us from 0 to 60 in 4.6 seconds. By now, we've got to just about be there. As we pick up speed, Raheem's banner unfurls from the car's old-fashioned radio antenna. I see it flapping in the mirror, fluttering in the slipstream behind us. The expertly painted words of the message we need to deliver beyond any. Fire ribbit? No way. My classmates are jumping up and down and cheering, so it must be open and readable. The adults aren't moving at all, which might be from shock. We didn't tell Jake or Miss Fountain about the banner part, and of course, Mr. Kermit himself didn't suspect any of this until a few seconds ago. He might not even know he's ribbit. Then everybody's gone as I screech around the corner to circle the block. That's the plan. A quick loop out of the school, banner flying, and back up the driveway to stop at the judge's feet so they can examine the monster engine built by every inch of us. By this time, Graham's is enjoying the ride. Where are we going, kiddo? The senior center, like always, I replied, with a short detour to impress the judges. Judges? She echoes in a strange tone. Don't you mean firemen? No, Grams, they're judges, I explain patiently. This is a science fair project. She frowns. Then who's going to put out the fire? That's when I spot the tongues of bright orange flames in the rearview mirror. I panic. The car's on fire. Grams is totally calm. No, it isn't, kiddo. Isn't that rag we're towing? The banner. I risk a glance over my shoulders. She's right. The heat of the tailpipe set fire to the bedsheet fabric we used to make the banner. Come to think of it, Jake mentioned that he filled the gas tank with racing fuel to get maximum performance for the judges. He says it burns really hot. Yeah, no kidding. What should I do? If I stop, then we won't win the science fair and Mr. Kermit will be gone. But how can I drive a car that's on fire? Well, technically, the car isn't burning. There's just the sheet attached to the radio antenna. Already, Fire Ribbit No Way is down to Fire Ribbit No W. It looks like we want him to get fired right now. That's the opposite of the message we're trying to send. I wheel around another corner. Since I can't stop, I speed up, lowering the gas pedal again. Maybe the wind will put out the fire? Instead, it fans the flames. The banner whips from side to side, leaving glowing embers dancing in the air. The next time I look back, the honeysuckle hedge is ablaze. This is definitely not covered under my provisional license. Nice moves, kiddo, Grandma cheers. I never knew you were such a good driver. All the months I've been driving Grams, she doesn't notice my skills until I'm laying waste to the neighborhood. As I streak back down toward River Street, I leave a line of smoldering bushes in my wake. Black smoke hangs in the air. Now the banner is down to Fire Rib, which sounds like an ad for a restaurant. All along the sidewalk, people are shouting and pointing and scrambling to get out of the way of the swirling sparks. Breathing a silent prayer, I make the final turn onto River Street and streak up the school's driveway. Even though this is a disaster, there's only one place to go. Back to the judges. Remember, our project isn't banner making 101. It's the internal combustion engine. And that part works amazing. That's where we're going to stop now, boys and girls. Oh, these guys, right? So think about this. They have this great project, right? The judges are blown away. They're so excited. But they put a banner in the back just to kind of really send their message like, hey, we want Mr. Kermit and we want him to stay. And now it's setting on fire. Oh, yeah, they. Well, looks like we'll be able to finish this up. If not, probably on Monday. We're really coming to the end. Hope you guys are enjoying the read alouds, and I hope you guys are enjoying your time at home. I can't wait to talk to you guys really soon. I miss you lots. Have a good day, guys.